Welcome to CodeCradle. Today we are going to learn microservices most asked interview questions. How would you implement a transaction that spans multiple services? To handle a transaction over multiple services, use the saga pattern. Here how it works, it splits the main transaction into smaller parts, each part handled by a different service. Each service completes its parts and tells the other whether it is succeeded or failed. If one part fails, other services undo their work to keep everything consistent. This way, even though the services are separate, they work together to complete the transaction or back out if there is a problem. What are the trade-offs of using eventual consistency versus strong consistency? Eventual consistency offers higher availability and better performance, especially in distributed systems, because it allows operations to proceed without waiting for immediate data agreement across nodes. However, it risks temporary data discrepancies, which might lead to inconsistencies visible to users. Strong consistency ensures data accuracy and reliability at all times, as all nodes must agree on any data update, but this can slow down operations and reduce system availability due to the coordination required. What are some strategies for microservices deployment? When deploying microservices, we can use containers, which help to run services smoothly across different systems. Tools like Kubernetes helps manage these containers. Another method is blue-green deployment, where we have two versions and can switch between them easily to avoid downtime. Lastly, canary releases involves rolling out a new version to a small groups first to test it before giving it to everyone. These methods help keep services running smoothly and allow easy updates. Can you describe blue-green deployment? Blue-green deployment is a way to update software with minimal downtime. We have two identical steps, one blue and other is green. One step runs the current version while the other prepares the new version. After testing the new version of the inactive setup, we switch the user traffic from the old to the new. If something goes wrong, we can quickly switch back to the older version to avoid problems. How does canary releasing differ from blue-green deployment? Canary releasing slowly introduces a new version to a few users first, and if it works well, gradually rolls it out to everyone. This method lets we test how the new version performs in the real world step by step. Blue-green deployment switches all users from the old version to the new one at once after testing. This means all users see the version at the same time once it is switched over. What tools would you recommend for automating microservices deployment? For automating microservices deployment, consider these tools. Kubernetes help manage and scale services automatically. Jenkins automates the steps needed to build and deploy our services. Docker makes it easy to package our services so they work consistently. Helm works with Kubernetes to set up and manage our services more quickly. These tools help to keep everything running smoothly and update our services with less hassle. How do you monitor and manage microservices? To keep an eye on and manage microservices, we can use tools like Prometheus to monitor how the services are performing and gather important data. For handling logs from different services, tools like Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana are useful for organizing and analyzing these logs. Grafana is great for visual displaying data. Kubernetes helps to manage these services by automatically adjusting resources, balancing loads and fixing problems to keep everything running smoothly. What metrics are important to monitor in a microservice architecture? In a microservice architecture, it's important to keep an eye on how fast services respond, how often errors occur, and how CPU, memory, and storage they use. We should also watch the traffic between services, how they connect each other, and how quickly data moves across the network. Monitoring how many requests each service handles helps in managing workloads and spotting any usual unusual increase in activity. How can distributed tracing help in monitoring microservices? Distributed tracing helps to monitor microservices by tracking how requests move through different services. It shows where delays happen, which service might be causing problem, and how changes in one service affect others. This makes it easier to find and fix issues, improving how the whole system works. What tools can be used for logging, monitoring in a microservice environment? In a microservices environment, we can use tools like Prometheus for tracking metrics, Grafana for making charts and graphs, and Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana for managing logs and creating visuals. Jagger and Jipkin are good for tracing how requests travel through our services. These tools help we understand how our services are performing quickly and find any issues.